Okay. Good morning again, fellow tuberistas. Today I'm going to tackle a subject pretty much forgotten now, considered a cut and dried matter of history, but one that still bears very much relevance to the world in which you live. And that's the former East Germany, the GDR, or the DDR in German. There you go, Zov. Praising your pet totalitarian regimes again. How can you possibly have anything good to say about that ghetto state founded on rape in 1945, actually 1949? A satellite state is repudiated by its people as the U.S. satellite regime of South Vietnam. Well, I can speak, as I'm about to, because the people of East Germany did not deserve what was done to them, suffering a political rape every bit as atrocious for all of Chancellor Helmut Kohl's seductive false promises, and a looting by corporate West Germany every bit as real as Stalin's post-war reparations, which the East paid to Moscow for all of the Third Reich, by the way. The East was subjected to Helmut Kohl's Anschluss as thoroughly as Hitler's on Austria, also popular at the time, and like the first Anschluss, it was applauded by appeasers East and West as part of a new world order in Europe. This is a subject requiring much more than a YouTube video, but regarding the GDR's ghetto status, that's indisputable. An ironic lesson from World War II, as I've commented elsewhere. Where those who built ghettos for others finally built one for themselves, a lesson one might wish had been extended over all the former territory of the Third Reich. Justice is rarely so poetic. But beyond the barbed wire and the Brandenburg Gate, the people of East Germany built up in 2 generations the highest standard of living in the former socialist bloc, and from literally nothing, with no Marshall Plan, little UN aid, and in the face of massive reparations extracted to Moscow. But the fruits of this labor was squandered in a mere 2 to 3 years as the swallowing of the West German state vindictively obliterated every political, social, and economic trace of its rival. The mechanism for this act of legalized land piracy was the Treuhandanstalt, or Treuhand for short. This was a state trust agency, as its name says, of the East German state, which was also taken over by the Federal Republic after unification, for the privatization of the VEBs, the state-owned enterprises of East Germany. Like everything else in the East, as I've stated, that was taken over by the Federal Republic after March of 1990, and also run into the ground. The Treuhand became an irresponsible, unaccountable front for corporate West Germany to buy up East German assets in the same branch of industry, often for the nominal sum of 1 Deutschmark, rather than invest in these enterprises, many of which were profitable, and even produced for the world market, as in optics, watches, textiles, furniture. Instead, these investors used these assets as capacity reserve by shutting them down. All 8 East German rolling steel mills, for instance, were bought and closed by Kugelfischer of West Germany, and then shut down to remove competition and bolster Western-based production. East German sugar production was destroyed so that all of Germany's sugar quota under the EC could be met by Western producers. The Treuhand was also marked by outright corruption, insider dealing, and racketeering. The life's work of 2 generations was taken from those who produced it and pissed away, or if it had any cash value, redirected into real estate, money markets, and other supply-side free market gimmicks. A massive transfer of wealth that went not to the people of the East, but to the West, and even then only a select few at the top. Of 4 million jobs under Treuhand control in 1990, only 1.5 million were left by 1993. 2.5 million workers lost their jobs in 3 years, a rate of deindustrialization unmatched anywhere in world history, with working women suffering disproportionately. Combining the family average of the East, this affected 7.5 million persons, 40% of the GDR's 1990 population of 17 million. And this is considered democratic economic reform, which speaks loud and clear volumes on the political and social values of the new Europe to any ears not plugged by the corporate-funded peanut gallery chorus. Okay? And as the dispossessed of the East thrashed around for the next 20 years, rebuilding their lives and communities, a process which many may never find completed, they received the benefit of finger-wagging lectures on their lack of democratic culture, their inability to adjust to new economic realities. But as though these people wanted to be free of that ghetto state, the West had to take it over to keep those people from all flooding the West and keep them at home. Well, yes, the West would have had to build its own Berlin Wall without unification. But would you advocate swallowing Mexico to stop its immigration to the U.S.? Okay, unfortunately, people of the East were inebriated by their new freedoms, dazzled by handout money at the wall for West Berlin shopping sprees, bamboozled by the sophisticated, well-funded political marketing strategies of Helmut Kohl, and lastly, but far from least, blinded by ethnic nationalism that had nothing to do with the social realities of economic rebuilding and recovery. When they awoke the morning after, they found themselves with a massive hangover, their credit cards in the form of public assets stolen, and assholed as wide as a Berlin U-Bahn tunnel. And as we now see our own productive capacity squandered and looted, our social benefits crushed and defunded, our rights as workers and citizens callously dismissed, we can learn a lesson from the tragic fate of the people of Eastern Germany. Wake up. Don't fall for the lies. Nostalgic kitsch for the life you led 20 years ago will not feed you today nor educate your children tomorrow. A Canuck on the phone. Hello? Adolf Hitler? What's going on in hell these days, old Fuhrer? You're upset at my criticism of your boy Helmut. You thought he did a bang-up job on those Judeo-Bolsheviks in East Berlin. But Fuhrer, those people were Aryans too. They beat up a Turk Gastarbeiter just like any Westie. Doesn't that matter? They should count it as glory to lay down their economic lives for the good of the united fatherland. Would you mind telling that to them and their children yourself, and to the rest of Europe and North America? Because, unfortunately, you don't seem to be as dead as you pretend.